In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. All praises due to Allah the Almighty, the Lord of the worlds. May Allah's peace, mercy and blessings be upon His final and last messenger, Muhammad. And may Allah's peace, mercy and blessings be upon each one of you watching this episode. Today's episode, my dear brothers and sisters, will be a very informative one, as it's about the voluntary fasting of 6 days of the month of Shawwal, which follows the fasting or observing the fasting of the blessed months of Ramadan. So in this episode, with the aid of Allah the Almighty, we will know the answer to many questions and many points. So first of all, speaking of the merit and the reward of fasting 6 days of Shawwal, Abu Ayyub, the great companion, Abu Ayyub Al-Ansari, may Allah be pleased with him, narrated that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, whoever fasts Ramadan and follows it up with 6 days of Shawwal, it will be as if, or he or she will get the reward as if he has or she has fasted the entire year. And this hadith is reported by Imam Muslim in his Sahih. So according to the opinion of many Muslim scholars, it is commendable and something very encouraged to fast these days, since Allah the Almighty rewards each good deed with 10 times in its value. A Muslim who fasts 6 days of Shawwal after the fast of Ramadan is considered to have fasted 360 days, i.e. an entire year. Scholars noticed that the relationship of fasting the 6 days of Shawwal to Ramadan is analogous, as a matter of fact, to that of the voluntary prayers following obligatory prayers, and that the relationship of fasting during some days from the month of Sha'ban is analogous to that of the voluntary prayers preceding the obligatory prayers. So they fill any imperfections or any shortcomings or deficiencies that may have occurred in the obligatory act of worship. Moreover, the Muslim scholars indicate that the fast of Ramadan has been accepted by the will of Allah the Almighty. This is because among the signs that an act of worship has been accepted is following it up with another act of worship. So we fast the blessing months of Ramadan, and we follow it up with another fasting, which is a fasting of the 6 days of Shawwal. Additionally, my dear brothers and sisters, the fasting of 6 days from the month of Shawwal shows that a person does not become bored of obedience and thus sets out to fast yet again after breaking his fast on the day of Eid, which is the day of reward, because we know that it is not allowed to fast on the day of Eid. Having said that, let's now move on to another important point, and that's the manner of fasting. It is not a condition, as a matter of fact, to fast the 6 days of Shawwal consecutively. You don't have to fast them, the 6 days in a row. For instance, a person can distribute them over the months of Shawwal by fasting on Mondays and Thursdays, or on the 3 white days, i.e. the 13th, the 14th and the 15th, because we know that this is also a type of voluntary fasting. So whoever fasts on these days, it will be also okay for them to fast in these days. However, it is best, as a matter of fact, to perform the fasting of the 6 days of Shawwal immediately after the day of Eid, as long as you can. Okay, so let's now move on to another point, and it relates to making up the missed fast of the days of Ramadan. As a matter of fact, if possible, it is preferable to make up the missed fast days of Ramadan before fasting the 6 days of Shawwal. And this is due to the hadith that the Prophet ﷺ in which states وَدَيْنُ اللَّهِ أَحَقُّ أَنْ يُقْضَى, a debt owed to Allah the Almighty has more right to be fulfilled. So again, if possible, it is, as a matter of fact, preferable to make up the most fast days of Ramadan before fasting the 6 days of Shawwal. As a matter of fact, it's also important to share with you a very important point, and that's according to the Shafi'i scholars or the Shafi'i school of Islamic jurisprudence, it is possible to combine the intention of making up the most fast days of Ramadan with the 6 days of Shawwal. Alternatively, one can fast the 6 days of Shawwal first and delay making up the most fast days of Ramadan, provided that one completes them before the next Ramadan, because it's very important that we complete fasting or making up fasting for the days that we missed in Ramadan before the coming of the next Ramadan. Let's now move on to another important point excuse me, and it has to do with the time for making the intention for fasting the 6 days of Shawwal. The intention of fasting the 6 days of Shawwal can be made any time before noon. So it can be made from the time of Fajr or night all the way to the time before noon, provided that one has not done anything that would nullify and invalidate the fast. So for example, if it's still time for noon and you haven't eaten or done anything that would break the fast, or drank or engaged in any marital relations or anything that would deem the fasting void, then in this case you can, as long as it is not Dhuhr prayer yet, you can make up your intention that you will be fasting one of the 6 days of Shawwal. Such is the case for all voluntary fasts, and not only the fasting of the 6 days of Shawwal. In contrast to obligatory fasting and making up for missed obligatory days, or fasting of obligatory days, for which one must make the intention before dawn. So if you're going, for example, to fast a day in Ramadan, or to make up for a missed day in that you missed, and during the month of Ramadan, you have to make the intention before the dawn prayer and before the dawn time. So with this, we come to the end of this episode. I leave you in the care of Allah the Almighty. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.